392, Arbogast has Eugenius elected Western Roman Emperor when he was unable to placate the Eastern and senior Emperor Theodosius I. 851, Battle of Gengland, Erispo defeats Charles the Bald near the Breton town of Gengland. 1138, Battle of the Standard between Scotland and England took place on Cowton Moor near Northallerton in Yorkshire, England. English forces under William of Aumale repelled a Scottish army led by King David I of Scotland. 1485, the Battle of Bosworth Field occurs, Richard III dies, marking the end of the House of Plantagenet. 1559, Spanish Archbishop Bartolomé Carranza is arrested for heresy. His case dragged on in Spain until 1564, when the Archbishop appealed to Rome. At length, in 1576, he was found not guilty of heresy but was compelled to renounce certain propositions. 1614, Fete Milch Uprising, Jews are expelled from Frankfurt, Holy Roman Empire, following the plundering of the Judengasse. 1639, Madras, now Chennai, India, is founded by the British East India Company on a sliver of land bought from local Nayak rulers. 1642, Charles I raises his standard in Nottingham, which marks the beginning of the English Civil War. 1711, Britain's Quebec expedition loses 8 ships and almost 900 soldiers, sailors, and women to rocks at Pointe aux Anglais. 1717, Spanish troops land on Sardinia, which was part of the Holy Roman Empire. 1770, James Cook names and lands on Possession Island, and claims the east coast of Australia for Britain as New South Wales. 1777, British forces abandon the siege of Fort Stanwix after hearing rumours of Continental Army reinforcements, which led to the eventual defeat and surrender of the British at Saratoga. 1780, James Cook's ship HMS Resolution returns to England. However, Cook having been killed on Hawaii during the voyage. 1798, French troops land at Kilcomin, County Mayo, Ireland to aid the rebellion. 1827, José de la Mar becomes President of Peru. He served as the constitutional president of the Republic of Peru from August 22, 1827 to June 7, 1829. He was removed from the presidency of Peru after less than 2 years by a coup d'etat led by General Agustin Gamarra. 1846, the Second Federal Republic of Mexico is established. It was a second attempt to establish a federal government in Mexico after the fall of the unitary Centralist Republic of Mexico in 1846 at the start of the Mexican-American War. 1849, the first air raid in history occurs, Austria launches pilotless balloons against the city of Venice. 1849, Pasileo Incident, João Maria Ferreira do Amaral, the governor of Portuguese Macau, is assassinated by a group of Chinese locals, triggering a military confrontation between China and Portugal at the Battle of Pasileo 3 days after. 1864, 12 nations sign the First Geneva Convention, establishing the rules of protection of the victims of armed conflicts. 1875, the Treaty of St. Petersburg between Japan and Russia is ratified, providing for the exchange of Sakhalin for the Kuril Islands. 1894, Mahatma Gandhi forms the Natal Indian Congress (NIC) in order to fight discrimination against Indian traders in Natal.
1902, the Cadillac Motor Company is founded. The Cadillac Automobile Company was formed by Henry Leland and former financial partners of Henry Ford after a failed attempt at establishing the Henry Ford Company, and quickly developed into one of America's premier luxury automakers. 1922, Michael Collins, Commander-in-Chief of the Irish Free State Army, is shot dead in an ambush during the Irish Civil War. 1934, Bill Woodfull of Australia becomes the only Test cricket captain to twice regain the Ashes. 1941, World War II, German troops begin the siege of Leningrad. It is a prolonged siege, from September 8, 1941 to January 27, 1944 of the city of Leningrad, St. Petersburg, in the Soviet Union by German and Finnish armed forces during World War II. The siege actually lasted 872 days. 1944, World War II, Holocaust of Kedros in Crete by German forces. It was the mass murder of the civilian residents of 9 villages located in the Amari Valley on the Greek island of Crete during its occupation by the Axis powers in World War II. 1962, the O's attempts to assassinate French President Charles de Gaulle. It was planned by a military engineer who was not an O's member, Jean-Bastien Thiry. 1963 X-15 Flight 91 reaches the highest altitude of the X-15 program, 107.96 km, 67.08 mi, 354,200 feet. 1968 Pope Paul VI arrives in Bogotá, Colombia. It is the first visit of a pope to Latin America. 1971 J. Edgar Hoover and John Mitchell announce the arrest of 20 of the Camden 28. 1973 The Congress of Chile votes in favor of a resolution condemning President Salvador Allende's government and demands that he resign or else be unseated through force and new elections. 1978 The District of Columbia Voting Rights Amendment is passed by the U.S. Congress. The amendment would have given the District of Columbia full representation in Congress, full representation in the Electoral College, and full participation in the constitutional amending process, although it is never ratified by a sufficient number of states. 1989 Nolan Ryan strikes out Rickey Henderson to become the first Major League Baseball pitcher to record 5,000 strikeouts. 1991 Iceland is the first nation in the world to recognize the independence of the Baltic states. 1992 FBI sniper Lon Horiuchi shoots and kills Vicki Weaver during an 11-day siege at her home at Ruby Ridge, Idaho. Horiuchi was charged with manslaughter for killing Vicki Weaver at Ruby Ridge, but the charges were later dropped. 2003 Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore is suspended after refusing to comply with a federal court order to remove a rock inscribed with the Ten Commandments from the lobby of the Alabama Supreme Court building. 2004 Versions of the Scream and Madonna, two paintings by Edvard Munch, are stolen at gunpoint from a museum in Oslo, Norway. 2006 Grigori Perelman is awarded the Fields Medal for his proof of the Poincaré conjecture in mathematics but refuses to accept the medal. 2007 The Texas Rangers defeat the Baltimore Orioles 30-3, the most runs scored by a team in modern Major League Baseball history. 2012 Ethnic clashes over grazing rights for cattle in Kenya's Tana River District result in more than 52 deaths.